Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Andrew, and this is Discovering the Truth. Now, I'm going to try to get a video up every Thursday if I am able to, but I will most definitely make it a big priority to try to get out more content because I truly want to grow this channel, but I also really want to grow the community behind all of these strange and very unsettling sightings, from ghosts to ghouls to monsters, beasts, and paranormal. There's so many things that fall into this exact same category. And I really want to talk about so many of these different things, but I can't squeeze all that into one video because, well, I would be here for days. Because the amount of different topics that you could talk about, all the different sightings, and of course, in the future, I really want to be able to get to know the community more. And I would love to be able to meet and talk to some of the other big content creators about their thoughts and opinions on, the strange monsters, ghosts, ghouls, and all those good things. So, with that being said, in today's video, I just want to talk about one particular cryptid type monster, and that is the Beast of Bray Road. Now, I'm not 100% sure of what this could be, if it is real, or is it just a figment of our imaginations. But there is a lot of proof backing this story about the Beast of Bray Road and it potentially being a werewolf or a dogman. Now, in today's video, I really want to talk about what I think these things are and where they may come from. Now, this is just my personal opinion. Does not mean that I am right or I am wrong. I'm just giving my opinions on what these things could be and why so many people are encountering these dogmen or werewolf type creatures. And to be honest, it's quite terrifying. And I want to say one more thing too before I jump into this video. I know that anybody that came to this channel and subscribed that came from Beyond the Shadows podcast, great gentleman interviewed me on my own personal encounter that I had with a very terrifying creature. And I want to let everybody know that my episode after this one, I am going to tell my story by myself to the world, and I'm going to try to give it as many details that I possibly can remember. And the fact that this creature isn't just something I had one encounter with. I had 7 encounters in total with this creature, but it has been bumped up to 8. I recently had another encounter with this very same creature, and again, I have an eyewitness. My wife and I both seen it together, making it up to 2 times that we've seen it together in our backyard. So I just wanted to tell you guys that. And if anybody didn't know, I had a very, very scary encounter with a creature that I don't know what it is. I don't know where it came from. But I can tell you this, that my story is not fabricated. It's not made up. And to be honest, I wish it was made up because what I've seen is forever just ingrained into my mind. And it truly did make me question my own reality. It made me feel like I was losing my mind. I thought I was like hallucinating, or just anyone that's had an encounter probably knows what I'm going through. It's basically like you're questioning, did you misidentify, something, or were you just tired, or there's just so many factors. But I know what I saw, and I know that it was something that was not human, and it was something that I feel like I shouldn't have seen. Maybe like the whole saying wrong place, wrong time, wrong place, however you want to say it. But I just wanted to tell everybody that I am going to give a more in-depth story of what happened, and I'm going to try to remember every part that I can so that I can give a better in-depth and more detailed story. So, with all that being said, let's talk about the Beast of Bray Road. What exactly is this creature? Is it actually a werewolf or a dogman? Or are they one and the same? Is it some type of entity? Or is it an organic, living, breathing creature? I don't know. But I am going to give my thoughts and opinions of what I think this Beast of Bray Road is and what I believe the Dogmen is and where they come from. I could be wrong. I could be right. I don't know. But hear me out. Well, this is kind of a future version of myself because this recording took place in 2 separate days and I got a haircut and I got all trimmed up. So, anyways, I really want to discuss my thoughts on what the werewolf or dogman or even the Beast of Bray Road. What exactly are these things and where do they come from and what exactly are they? Now, like I stated earlier in the video, I don't know all the answers to these things, but I just want to give my thoughts and opinions on what I may or may not know about these creatures. Now, I look at it like this. A werewolf is something that dates way, way back, where people have claimed to have seen a bipedal, canine. And of course, we see it in movies and TV shows about werewolves. And most of the time, people think of these creatures as just being something from Hollywood or from, a fairy tale book about a very large wolf or werewolf that, usually is terrorizing a city or town or, some unfortunate people lost in a cabin in the middle of the woods. But the truth is, I believe in these things as much as I believe in everything around me. Now, I personally have had one experience with a dogman. It was very brief, and I could be wrong about it, but that story will be for another time. But I know a lot of people want to sit and say that the dogman is a spirit or it's a demon. And I want to tell you this. Now, hear me out. Why would something as powerful as a demon take the form of something that is far less of a being than it? Now, I'm not saying that and praising a demon, but I'm saying a demon is a very powerful entity. They are basically angels, fallen angels have become demons. I can't see a demon taking the form of a werewolf or dogman or the Beast of Bray Road or many other different cryptid type creatures just to scare somebody. A demon by itself could scare the crap out of any human being on the planet, especially when you know what angels and demons truly look like. So, I'm just going to rule that out. I do not believe these things are demons. I don't believe they're any types of spirit or Native American spirits either. I believe that these creatures, these dogmen, are living, breathing, organic creatures. And I believe that without a shadow of a doubt, that these things are much alive as you and I, simply because these things may live like we do, but I think they live on a different type of principle. Now think about this. Look how many encounters people have with dogmen or werewolves or other cryptid monsters, but yet they get to live to tell the tale. You ever wonder why? Well, it's like my personal encounter that I had. I feel like this thing could have easily got me and tore me to shreds within seconds. but yet it didn't. And that's why I believe these things, they have like a rule system or something like that, or they they use your fear, your anxiety, your stress, and they feed off of that. Like that is like a source for them that gives them energy, because we are energy beings. Now, what's to say that dogmen and other cryptid type creatures are not energy beings too? And they feed off of that energy, giving them their abilities to pass in and out of the veil. That's why so many people encounter these things, but they don't attack. They simply stay in the shadows. They snap branches, they move around them, and of course, they make their presence known. And of course, as us humans, seeing, something like a dogman, which is a very large, muscular, canine, bipedal creature staring you down, that's going to strike a lot of fear in you. Fear like you've never felt before. And therefore, it's feeding off of that. And I'm not saying that these things cannot attack, because I very much believe they can, and they would do catastrophic damage to whoever they decide that they're going to attack. But what I'm saying is it doesn't make much sense to me why so many people say that they're demons, or they're, something like that, or they're some spirit. No, because there's been accounts where people have been attacked, and I'm sure there's probably a lot more attacks that happen from different types of creatures, but yet there's some type of organization, government, or something that's covering up the truth from all of us. Because I know what I seen, and this thing could have easily attacked me and tore me to pieces, but yet it didn't. It stayed at a distance. Maybe these things are just as curious as we are. Maybe these things are just as scared of us as we are scared of them. I don't know, because I don't know the answers. That's why I'm trying to search out the truth and trying to give content to you guys, because I want you guys to interact with me and give me your guys' thoughts. But anyways, before I start rambling, let me get back on topic. So, when it comes to these creatures, and why I say they are organic, is because these things know what they're doing. They're not dumb. They're very intelligent. And many people have, said these things were hunting them in the woods. And some people have encountered more than one. But yet they still live, the people that had these encounters. Just like people have encounters with Bigfoot, dogmen, pale crawlers, and other strange creatures. But there are strange things that happen before they have their encounter. Sometimes not, but a lot of times they do. Excuse me, let me take a drink. Like, for instance, I know that a lot of people have claimed to say they hear a strange metal type sound right before their encounter. Now, that could be explained by wind or some loose piece of metal somewhere, but the fact that it's so consistent on as many people that have heard those strange sounds right before they have an encounter, that tells me maybe, just maybe, that could be a portal opening or a tear in the veil. Because, see, I believe these things come from the veil. The reason that I say that is because think about Stranger Things. In that TV show, there was the real world and the upside down. The upside down was basically a copy of the real world, except a lot different. Different rules, and of course, there were monsters and creatures that lived in there. But they could find ways out. So, let's just say that a man is walking on a walking trail. He hears a strange metal sound. He starts looking around, trying to figure out what it is, and then out of nowhere, a large wolf stands up on two legs at the end of the walking trail and is looking at this man. The man is absolutely terrified. He can't even move from his position, but yet this creature just stares at him. Sometimes these creatures will have different color eyes, different builds, different colors to their fur, but yet the creature runs off. You ever wonder that when they did that, is that they use so much energy of their own to pass through that veil, and that weird noise is the veil being tore open. And therefore, the creature passes through, and then the creature happens to stumble upon a person. Basically, wrong place, wrong time. Now, I'm not saying that's always the case, but with my personal encounter, I feel like I went to the same place all the time, but yet one early morning, I happened to have an encounter. So it's like wrong place, wrong time. Now, I'm not saying that any of this is true or it's facts. I'm just giving my opinion. But when it comes to the veil is talked about in the Bible. And the veil, they say the veil is thinning. And of course, sightings of these creatures are increasing. And people keep seeing more and more types or more encounters. And the more, people come on to podcasts like my own and things, and we get more stories, it starts to really tell a story. Like, when I say the weird metal sounds and then people have an encounter, and then have you ever thought about this? Think about when this man that had this encounter on this trail, how exactly that when he decides he's going to go home, he's going to get his buddies, they're going to get their guns, and they're going to go hunt this thing, but they can't find it. There's absolutely no trace, no trail, no nothing. Do you ever think that these creatures, the reason that when people go to hunt them, these creatures are not dumb. They are very intelligent. So they know that a person cannot pass through the veil, not unless they just happen to stumble upon the wrong place. But these things can disappear. Think about Bigfoot, Dogmen. These people have had tens of thousands of encounters with these, and then they have sent teams out to try to find it. People tracking them, finding, footprints, everything, but there's nothing. They just vanish. No trace, no nothing, just gone. And that's very strange. But then I look at think about the missing 411, where people disappear in national parks all the time. And people that have survived have claimed that they have seen the search and rescue people, and they're hollering at them, but yet they don't hear them. They don't even see them. So what if that person happened to slip through the veil? Or when they are out there and get lost, something sucks them into the veil, and that's why there's no trace of them. Or they find them and they're miles and miles way, in a different direction than was even humanly possible. Because maybe in the veil things work differently. Now, I'm not saying that I know all the answers, but if you really start stacking it all up together, these creatures have got to have some type of method or means of disappearing and hiding, because you have so much technology nowadays. You have drones, you have cell phones, you have cameras, you have trail cams, so many different things at our disposal, but yet nothing. Or people that have set up cameras, they see something, but it's always very blurry or glitchy, or something happens. Because I know with my personal experience and what I have had an ongoing experience with, I noticed that there's a lot of strange things that happen before this thing decides to show itself up again. And then, like I said, there's a lot of missing people all the time, and especially in parks. And of course, a national park is very dense woods, bad weather. And it's strange to me too, like a lot of people say that someone comes up missing, and then all of a sudden fog comes in, heavy rain comes in, snow starts pouring. Like, why is that? Unless there's some type of entity that controls maybe this upside down type world, like the veil. And these creatures can pass in and out of this different dimension, and that's why you can't find them. That's why so many people have come up missing. They've never even found them. Not a single trace, not a shoe, not a scent. Or think about this: when search crews go out and they have dogs, and the dogs get a hold of the scent, and they're going and they're going and they're going, and then all of a sudden they lose it, just out of nowhere. Why? You ever think maybe the reason that they lose that trail is because that person happened to walk and pass through the veil, and now they think they're still in the normal world, but they're not. They're in a whole different world, and that's why they vanish without a trace. Or there's times where they've searched an area repeatedly over and over and over again and never found anything, and then the remains of the unfortunate person pop up in a place they've done searched 1,000 times. You know, something is definitely up with, these creatures and the strange sounds and the strange feelings people get. People get the sense of dread, fear, confusion, a bunch of things right before they happen. You have strange sounds like, metal or strange ringing. There's so many different things. And I know with my own personal encounter, I felt like when this creature that I encountered, when I made eye contact with this thing, the amount of different emotions and things that my body was going through, it's like, even me thinking about it right now, I can't even comprehend all the different effects that this thing had on me, but yet never touched me. Now, I can't say there's any proof to any of this that I'm saying, but I think I'm on to something. I truly believe that these creatures are living, breathing, organic creatures that do exist. They are real. And the reason that we cannot find them is because these creatures, one, are not dumb. They're very intelligent. And on top of that, they have some type of power to them. Because you got to think, these creatures are not, they're supernatural. They truly are. I mean, think about the show Supernatural and all the weird things that go on in that show when they're tracking down a creature, and how these creatures are able to disguise themselves or, hide amongst people, from shapeshifters to wendigos, so many different types of creatures. And it really makes me wonder. And like I said, I don't know all the answers, but it's like I'm trying to piece together each part, trying to understand and uncover what these creatures are and where they come from. But I am, at least with my opinion, I know these are living, breathing creatures. I know for a fact that these creatures have supernatural powers to being able to move way too fast, or maybe they're not moving that fast. Maybe they're passing in and out of the veil, and that's why when people say they hear a branch break over here and then a branch break over here, is because these things have the power to manipulate the world that they come from, and it manipulates our world to be able to jump from point A to point B within seconds. And, of course, people have been chased by these things, saying they move very quickly, they're very powerful, tearing down trees and everything else, like Bigfoot and things. So I believe these things do come from the veil, which is basically an upside down version of our world. And I believe that is what a lot of the missing people, why they can't find them, is they happen to pass through this. I mean, people have talked about fairy circles and everything else, and the fact that, they say if you step in a ring of mushrooms, you'll disappear. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but it's a possibility. And that's why I say the veil. And it's like, you ever wonder too, and this I guess only accounts to people that have had encounters, but why is it when you have your encounter, why does everything feel so cold, or you start feeling very strange? I know it does something to your emotions, but it's also the world. It's like the whole, when I had my encounter, it felt like somebody took a giant remote and put the world on pause. There was no birds, there was no crickets, there was no sounds at all, no cars, no just nothing. How is that possible in a busy world that we live in? Birds and stuff, yeah, I get animals be quiet when there's a predator around, but it doesn't mean that every car, the wind, every sound does not stop because there's a predator. Doesn't make much sense. Not unless for a brief couple of seconds you're being pulled into the veil. And that's why everything feels, you know, different. And then after your encounter, you feel drained and paranoid and stressed and so many other different emotions. There's something definitely up with these creatures. And I'm just trying to discover the truth. Now, with the whole Beast of Bray Road, there's a lot. I mean, you can read what's here on the screen. You probably can't read it because it's so small. But you should definitely look up it on Wikipedia, the whole story behind the Beast of Bray Road. And when you truly look into that and look into all the other Dogmen encounters all across the entire world, there's no way that this is just one creature. And there's no way that these creatures stay so elusive. People have claimed that they have had these things on their property. People have claimed to see multiple of them. Some have seen the same exact one multiple times. And with my own personal encounter that was not a dogman, I have seen mine multiple different times, but yet it comes and goes like a ghost in the night. No sound, no nothing. And that's something supernatural. Does not mean that it's a spirit. Does not mean that it's a demon. I do not believe that, and I never will believe that. Because I know what I've seen, and I know that this thing was breathing. If it is something like a demon, it does not need to breathe. It does not need to eat. It doesn't need to do any of that. It doesn't need to be a werewolf to scare the crap out of you. It doesn't need to be any of those things. So I can't see a demon or something taking on the form of something it would consider a lesser being, if that makes any sense. So all I want to say now is I'm sorry if I'm rambling. I just have so much stuff I want to talk about. I will get better at doing this in time. It's just there's so much knowledge that I have absorbed, and I'm trying to tell the world about this and that. It doesn't mean that I'm right, doesn't mean I'm wrong. I'm just giving my own opinions on what I think these things are and where they're coming from. And I could be 100% wrong, or maybe I'm hitting the nail right on the head. I don't know. But I do want to say, though, that if you made it this far in a video, I want to say thank you so much. And I appreciate everyone that has subscribed to my channel. And please interact with me. If you had an encounter and you would like to talk to me, please leave a message in the video description down below, and I will read it and I will get back to you. I don't know if I can get back to you immediately, but it will definitely be within a timely manner. It's just I am a dad. I do have 7 children, and I do work, so I'm trying to make this into a full-time job so that I can actually focus on this, because to me, I have a passion for this. I'm not just doing this to get views on YouTube. I'm doing this because I truly want to know the truth about all these strange things. And I just wanted to make a mission of mine to find out where these things come from. What are these things? Why are encounters ramping up so much? Why are people seeing so many different, cryptid type creatures? So many, paranormal experiences people are having. It's compared to a couple years ago up till now, there's so much more. And I know that more people are having encounters, but also people are coming forth to tell their stories. I know I was one of the people that didn't want to tell my story to anyone because I felt like I was dumb. I felt like people were going to make fun of me. I felt like, no one's going to believe me. So why tell anybody? But yet I found an amazing channel, and I don't know if he'll ever see this video or not, but Beyond the Shadows podcast, he's an amazing guy. He actually gave me the encourage to, make my own channel, because he gave me encouragement to tell my story. And from telling my story has kind of lit this fire in my heart to be able to talk about these things and to investigate these things. And also, I want to hear other people's stories, but I also want to meet and talk to other content creators that talk about the same things, so I can get their thoughts and opinions on what they think these things are and where they come from. But also, I want to give them my opinion. So if you made it this far, I just want to say thank you. Sorry if I ramble a lot, but I will get better at doing this over time. I just have so much that I want to say, so much I want to talk about, and, well, I'm a talker. And when it comes to a subject like this that's very fascinating and also very, very creepy and disturbing, it just makes me want to talk more, because I really, truly want to find the truth. So, and if you want to help support me, please share my videos around. Please like and subscribe. I'm not gonna force you to do it. You can do it if you want. I will never make member only's content, because I don't believe that you should have to pay to enjoy good videos. No offense to other content creators out there. I'm not trying to say anything bad to you. I just have my thoughts and my beliefs on it. I want to interact with everyone. I want to talk to everyone. I want all my videos to be, available to anyone across the entire world that wishes to listen. To me, people listening and watching my videos is absolutely amazing by itself. So I don't need to have it to where you have to pay to watch a video. So, with all that being said, my next video will be me discussing and telling you a very in-depth, detailed story of my own personal encounter. And I'm really hoping that this video does well, because, to be honest, I am very nervous about telling my story again. It very much does affect me. It's a very scary, and it messes with me in emotional, mentally, physically, everything. But I want to tell more people my story, so that you don't think that I'm just doing a YouTube channel for nothing. No, I'm doing it because I truly want to discover the truth. So thank you, everyone. I greatly appreciate it, and I cannot wait to hear from you guys. Probably in the next week or so, I'm going to have it set up to where I can have an email where you guys can email me, or I'm going to have maybe, I don't know, a spare cell phone, so you guys can send me a text message, and then I can give you guys a call, or you can call me, because I truly want to have podcasts with you guys, so that I can, talk about your story if you want to come on, or if you don't, you can just tell me your story, and then I can kind of briefly talk about it on my channel. So, anyways, I won't keep you guys any longer. I greatly appreciate all the support, and, well, just help me discover the truth. And if you have a very creepy story or anything that you would like to share, or you'd like to come on to my channel, please reach out to me. Even if it's just a message on YouTube, I most definitely will get back with you. Thank you very much, and do me a favor. If you do have a horrifying or terrifying story or encounter, don't be afraid to share it. Because the more that we know, and the more that we can, get a better understanding of this, it's going to help all of us. And I will not judge you for whatever story you have, because I know what it feels like to have something trapped right here and you don't have an outlet. So, I'm Andrew, and this is Discovering the Truth. Have a great and wonderful day. Stay safe, and I can't wait to see all of you in the next one. I'm out.